doing. I guess most of you would know what JCS is. I believe the J is for, like, Justin Can't Swim or something. But if we ever learned what crazy is supposed to look like, it was through the criminal psychology aspect. And aside from World War II, naval history, and a plethora of other things that I'm a fan of, criminal psychology and true crime is one of those that is up there as well. And one of the channels that I've always been hooked on, or is at least part of the core 4 that I follow, which is This Is Monsters, That Chapter, Dreading, and of course JCS Criminal Psychology, which I think everybody and their grandmother and their great-grandmother is somewhat aware of existing. So recently JCS has uploaded a new one that I wanted to, well, I had set it out for myself that I was going to get into this with a little bit of, like, I want to live stream a watch of it, or at least the new one that would come up. So with that being said, as I'm just like finagling with things on my end, just making sure everything is all copacetic and everything, which it appears to be, I believe we're just going to get right into it and just see what frickin' happens. And yeah, and fortunately for this case, it's about Grant Amato, and I actually am aware of this one, mainly from the show This Is Monsters, doing an expose on that one. So I know the timeline and I know the general plot, but I've always just been one to listen to it, not actually watch the interrogation. And I just want to see for myself if I can spot the discrepancies or follow along with it as well, from just a general overview of the case itself to an actual breakdown of the interrogation process. So, I mean, I don't really need to dilly-dally any further than what I'm doing right now, so let's just see how it actually all went down.
In mid-2018, 29-year-old Grant was unemployed, living rent-free in his parents' guest house in the rural village of Chuliota, Florida. He had not once lived on his own, and had recently been kicked out of an anesthesiology school for lack of attendance. And
so yeah, that's anesthesiologist. The people that put you under for surgery. Big job. Big freaking job. Like one of the highest paying jobs you could possibly ever land. And living at home, parents are paying for everything. It's a song and dance that if you follow true crime at all, we unfortunately know where it's going to go. But just the levels of depravity that this guy just falls into is just, I mean, it's irredeemable, it's irreprehensible, it's just all sorts of messed up.
Also fired from a job as a nurse for stealing medication. It was around that time when he decided to experiment with a relatively new realm of online cam sites. These platforms differ from regular porn sites in that they are interactive. Instead of watching a pre-recorded video, users can solicit live performances from models in exchange for money. This allows individuals to watch whatever acts they want, but at a price. Using his brother's credit card, he browsed through multiple cam models, spending an average of 20 minutes on each one. Yet it was on the 5th of June when forensics discovered he came in contact with a performer who went by the stage name of Sylvie. And over the following 6 months, Grant would spend over $200,000 of his family's money on this one model.
Jeez, it's still, I know he spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it still boggles the mind. You fell down this frickin' rabbit hole, my guy, and you just kept on digging. She's not into you for your looks, my guy. She only cares about how much money you have in the wallet and how much you're willing to dish out. So, yeah.
The entirety of his father's life savings that he had saved up from working as a pharmacist for over 30 years was gone. He had spent $60,000 from his brother's credit card and had also taken a $65,000 loan out on the house. When his family found out, instead of calling the police, Grant was sent to a behavioral rehabilitation facility for online porn addiction.
The more we try to run from shame, the stronger it becomes.
When Grant got back from rehab
on
January 4th, his father presented him with a 2-page list of rules he was required to follow if he wanted to continue living at home. One of the conditions was that he cease all communication with Sylvia immediately, but it took just 3 weeks for the family to discover that he had broken the contract and re-established contact with the model via Twitter. On January 24th, when Chad Amato got home from work, he reportedly confronted Grant over his disregard, and the two of them got into a heated argument which almost turned into a physical altercation. Grant was then kicked out of the house, and for the first time in his life, he was on his own. Shortly before 9 a.m. the next morning, police received a call from Cody Amato's girlfriend, alerting them that he had failed to show up to work that morning and hadn't responded to multiple phone calls. They arrived at the residence at 9:17 a.m., and once knocks on the front door went unanswered, they were able to gain access with a knife via the back entrance. Chad, Margaret, and Cody Amato were all found lying dead on the floor with gunshot wounds to the head from a 9mm handgun. Grant became the immediate prime suspect, as a witness statement from Cody's girlfriend advised police of the confrontation that had occurred the night before, as well as the collection of bizarre circumstances that had led to that point. He was traced to a hotel in Orlando.
You're being cooperative, sir. We appreciate that. Some Seminole County detectives want to talk to you, so we're going to get the handcuffs off of you.
Nothing in your pants, correct?
It's just a normal routine when we encounter someone that we want to make sure you're safe. Now we know you don't have any weapons, we'll get those restraints off of you. We're confident you've been cooperative, everything's good, so we appreciate that very much. It goes a long ways.
He immediately agreed to accompany them to the police station and sit down for an interview. Reports stated that he wasn't made aware of his family's demise, nor was he advised as to what the purpose of the interview was for.
Yeah, that was always something that caught me off guard when I listened to this case. Is like throughout the entire interrogation, and just like the whole rigmarole of establishing the timeline of events, he never asks why. Why all of this is happening? What is the meaning of all of this? Why are you guys here? Where's my family and all that other stuff? He doesn't do that, which just shows how disconnected he is from baseline reality, as I would put it. And it's just like he's stuck in this like fantasy world where it's just like, I guess he's just more in control. I guess I don't freaking get it. I just don't. Like, if I was in this situation and I had no hindsight of what was going on, or even if I was guilty of it and was fully aware of it, I would at least try and put on the air of like, wait, what's going on here? At least put on a show. He's been doing it for the best part for that freaking cam girl. I'll tell you that much. But it's just, it boggles the mind of just how, like, nonchalant he is. After shooting his dad, shooting his mom, shooting his brother, and then just falling back down that rabbit hole again, so...
Grant himself didn't once inquire, just reportedly sat silent in the back seat of an unmarked police car, staring out the window for the entire journey to the police station.
Not a word.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Not a word from this guy.
Yep.
So we have the amount of time that's going and everything. Nothing.
No.
The frickin' the amount of time he's been sitting there for 11 minutes and hasn't like said a word or of anything of importance, not even questioning like what the hell is happening right now. And it's just like, do something, anything to like sway opinion to your side and everything. It's just, I don't think like this, so I'll never know. I will never freaking know how a mind like this works.
I'll hold off on that.
Okay. Hi, I'm Eva.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm here.
Just to restate, he has not been told, nor given any insinuation as to why he is sitting inside an interrogation room, and has not once inquired himself.
Hey, we really appreciate you coming up here with us.
It just shows how much he doesn't freaking care. And I guess he thinks he's going to get away just because he says absolutely nothing. Newsflash for you, my guy. Silence speaks volumes. You'd be surprised.
And if any time during this you need to stop and go to the bathroom, want a drink, then just let me know, and we'll be happy to get you. My name is Danny Anderson, and I'm a deputy Seminole County Sheriff's Office at Eva.
The investigator's initial plan is to establish a friendly connection with the suspect, which can
Rapport.
often be a highly effective tactical procedure to elicit a more detailed discourse. Yet on this occasion, something seems to get lost in the endeavor, which you'll just have to see for yourself when the time comes. This is one of the most fascinatingly aggravating interrogations to ever be released into the public domain.
So we just want to talk to you a little bit, and we'll get this in and out, be on our way. Okay? Full name?
My full name is Grant Tiernan Amato.
Collecting basic info, name, date of birth, home address, phone number, email, education. He just goes on a rant just about basically his life and just like the girl that he was involved with and in a very one-sided relationship and everything. But it's just like, doesn't freaking fit the bill of just like, what's happening? Why am I here? Where's my family? Where's my mommy? All that jazz. It's just, like you said, it's infuriating. Just like the level of just utter disregard for everything that's happening right now.
What is there any special nursing degree? What you do, or?
I mean, I have like other certifications.
He's
but,
lost all of them.
I mean,
probably.
with that, like I primarily worked in the hospital for I think 5 or 6 years. Well, I was accused of grand theft of the third degree back in June of 2018. There was no evidence ever presented. All the charges were dropped.
I do like how the seconds in the time of day and the interview itself have sunk up. It's a nice little thing that happens, so my special brand of OCD is satiated right now.
I've been applying for jobs for the last couple weeks. I'd gotten like 3 or 4 callbacks, and then I went on a job interview yesterday for a home infusion nurse job.
What time was your interview yesterday?
It was scheduled for 10. I got there around 9 in the morning. And then I think we actually had the interview about 9:45.
I need to back something up here because my webcam was blocking it. I guess just putting it down here should do it.
What time was your interview yesterday?
It was scheduled for 10. I got there around 9.
And the family's already dead by then.
And then I think we actually had the interview at about 9:40.
Just keeping in mind at this point in time, he has already shot and killed both his dad, his mom, and his brother. They are gone. He is well aware of it, but he has not asked. Just doesn't freaking care.
How'd that go?
I mean, it was all good. They didn't have anything. They said that they'd probably be getting back to me by Tuesday or Thursday this coming week.
Get you back to work?
Yeah, because, I mean, it's like it's a crappy world when, you don't have any money.
Sure.
Because you keep spending it on a freaking cam girl, my guy. She doesn't like you for your bald ass head. She only likes it because you get money from seemingly nowhere.
Do anything, so.
Financially, how's the nursing what you did? I'm sorry, I just don't know that much. She knows a lot more about nursing. The nursing, how does it pay? How does it pay?
I mean, if you work your standard 12 hours a week, you get anywhere between, I'd say, $45,000 and $55,000 a year. So, I mean, it's not bad. I think my best year, I made like $55,000.
55.
Because I rarely worked overtime.
Right.
When I was just, because I had the whole plan of going to graduate school, so I was just kind of using it as a stepping stone for that time.
Just to pay the bills to get you where you gotta. Gotcha. And what you were going for, what does that pay?
Nurse anesthesia pays, I mean, base like about $150 up to $175.
Yeah, anesthesiologists, they make bank, but they have the education and the training and the expertise to back that amount. So, could have had it, squandered it all, and now look where he is. It's just, yeah.
Okay. High school, where'd you go?
I went to Timber Creek.
How were your grades?
High school and the first 2 years of college, I was A, B, C. I was in honors in the major program for UCF. Girlfriends.
We've hit the 20-minute mark, and it just feels like it's like just a freaking interview. It just feels like a goddamn interview. Not an interrogation or anything, but it's just like I freaking don't. I just freaking don't.
I had like my high school sweetheart girlfriend for about 5 years. And then ever since then, no like official girlfriends, no flings or anything like that.
Dates here and there.
Dates occasionally, but I mean not really.
Aside
Kind
from
of
the
focused
cam
on
girl.
like just getting through the life goals that I wanted to achieve.
What do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I like to watch anime.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what it is.
I mean,
I thought you said MMA. I'm like, okay.
No flings or anything like that. Through the life. I like to watch anime.
MMA. I'm like, okay. And then when you start explaining to it,
I mean, I
heard
guess
it. I'm like, no.
it's animated. It's like cartoons, I guess you could say, but it's Japanese cartoons. It is in Japanese, and then they subtitle it. Yeah.
Do you speak Japanese?
I was going to say, do you understand?
I don't. I understand a few words. We actually just went to me, my brother, and
His brother's dead, by the by. Just keep that in mind. Have to keep reiterating that previous day, he is already previous day, if not this, a couple days before, shot and killed both his parents and his brother. And here he's in an interrogation room talking about what anime is. Because he has lost all touch with reality.
I'm one of my friends, or I guess friends from high school.
And
we
we're
went
over
to
20
Japan.
minutes and he hasn't even asked
Back in
why
college,
the
been
hell
out of work?
he's here.
I've been out of work for 6 months, since June.
How did you pay? That's a lot of money for to be out of work.
My brother.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Other hobbies, PlayStation, Call of Duty.
I think the only other game that we really played was Fortnite, but then that was
Oh, of course he plays frickin' Fortnite. Oh, frickin' course.
starting to get to like.
That's a big deal right now.
Yeah.
The younger
Kids are all over it.
generation.
And actually, yeah, during the time that I was that I wasn't working as a nurse, I tried to do the whole Twitch streaming thing.
What is that?
I'm
It's
I'm
what
sorry.
I'm
doing. No.
What kind of order you have to explain
And
all
I'm
this to?
way
with
more
with
successful
Twitch,
than this
it's,
guy.
you got your mic and then you have your face cam, and then basically people are just watching you play whatever game you're going to say that you're playing.
Okay.
On virtual reality, it was primarily just Beat Saber, so it's like a rhythm-based game, like Guitar Hero. Apart from that,
Past 30 minutes
we really
now.
didn't get into too many other games. Yeah, 'cause we were
Why
kind of
am I
just
here?
focused on Beat Saber.
What's
but
going
I think
on?
we had downloaded a few other where it's just like you're going through like a world and you can interact with the world or something like that.
Close with your brother Cody? Let's talk about Cody.
Oh yeah. Me and Cody.
Cody is dead. Just keep that in mind. He killed his brother.
Who's older, you or him?
He is. I'm the youngest one. I'm 29. He's 31. My oldest brother Jason is 35 or 36 now.
Uh-huh. Tell me about Cody.
Cody, we decided to go to nursing school together. We decided to go to the nurse anesthesia school together. A lot of people thought that it was weird because we did everything together and because we were so close. But
So close. But
Yeah,
now
I mean,
A lot of
worlds
people
apart.
understand the bond of brothers, though.
Yeah.
The true bond.
Physically and
and
metaphysically.
I mean, during like this whole time, kind of like with just a few examples I've given you, he'd take care of everything for
Always
me.
there for you.
Yeah,
Always there to support you.
always there. Yeah, did everything together. Connect.
One thing I want to point out is his whole body language right now. It is quizzical, I guess, to a degree, but hands on the desk. He's sitting upright, leaning forward. He's looking at the detectives. He's engaging in the interrogation process as is, and he thinks he's in control. He thinks he knows what's going on. He thinks he's got it all figured out. So he can go off and spend another $200,000 on that cam girl. Somehow, some way, he'll figure it out. He just has to probably kill more people to do that, but it's just the fact that he just seems so nonchalant about that. It just shows that level of disconnect that he has just achieved right now. It's fascinating, dumbfounding and infuriating all at the same time.
At the hip.
And ever any issues really with him?
No, like I was saying, during this last 6 months, it had been a very trying time. He would like have his moments where he would get extremely upset. Like you know, he never gets violent, I guess you could say. But like at one point he got so upset that he like pushed a cabinet and then it like dented into the wall. Yeah, I mean.
But doesn't say exactly why he got upset. Doesn't exactly say that. Maybe it's because he stole 60 grand from him. That might do it. That might push him a little bit. Might, maybe, actually, absolutely.
And at least with me, he's always been like where he's there for me. Like whatever it takes, regardless of what's happening, I'm gonna take care of it for you.
Let me ask your mom.
She is also dead. Next question.
My mom has
It must have been a bizarre sight for the detectives to witness, when a man who had just allegedly shot his mother in the back of the head gave a reminiscent smile when she was brought up in the discussion.
She's always been it's kind of like Cody. She's always been.
He's surprisingly expressive for the triple homicide that he's pulled off. He is surprisingly expressive for that. Again, I just keep pointing back to it. The level of disconnect that he has from baseline reality is just... It's something. It is something, I'll tell you that much.
The one that focused on me, and
Mother was always there for him and stuck up to him, and he shot her in the back of the head when she was, I believe, sitting at her computer. So the police go in and they find her just slumped over the desk. Probably fell asleep, except when you find the blood dripping from the desk itself. So that'll do it. But the depravity that he does with his dad is even more just evil. Evil is the only word you can use to describe when they get to his dad.
Were you the baby? You were truly the family baby?
For my mom.
What about she's?
Yeah.
Okay.
For my mom.
Mom's favorite?
Yeah. You know, countless times my dad would like come up to me and he'd make like me feel like he'd try and use things and word things to make me feel guilty so that I would, you know, do everything that I can, like get a job.
Almost like a motivation.
Right. And he'd tell me time and time again that, you know, you're her favorite. I mean, she would do anything for you.
Mm-hmm.
Notice how he's the only one that can say because everyone else is dead. But it just also, we're also playing into a little bit of narcissism here. Holier than thou, as it would be. It's like, oh, you're the favorite, when that's like the big no-no for parents to be like choosing favorites. I love all my children, all of them equally. I like different things about them, but the love is universal and even across the board for everybody. Shouldn't have a favorite. The narcissism is kicking in. Thinks he's all hot shit and can afford the Bulgarian cam girl that doesn't care about him at all.
And, I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't need to hear that. I mean, that's not what would motivate me.
Sure.
But no, with Mom, I think we yelled at each other a grand total of like 3 or 4 times my whole life. Never any issues. I mean, it was always, like, if there was somebody that I could talk to and, like, Cody wasn't available, I'd always talk to my mom. I'd always let her know what's going on. Yeah, I mean, she would help me out through anything.
If you notice, he's using past tense. She would. Not she does, not she will, or that she always helps. She would help. Always the telltale sign when someone is guilty as shit. When they start establishing it in the past tense.
Okay. Tell me about Dad.
Dad
is dead.
What does he do?
Dad's a pharmacist.
Okay.
He works for CVS. He's been a pharmacist for, I think, 35 years or so.
We have now passed the hour mark. Still hasn't asked why he's here.
My dad was a very, like, angry, violent type person. Overbearing. You know, like baseball practice, it'd be like 4 or 5 hours, and he's hurling the ball as fast as an adult can. and we're like 7th, 8th grade trying to catch this stuff.
Belittle you?
He would belittle me when I was younger. The problem, I guess, was that I was always like the jokester, the one that could calm everybody down, make everybody smile. If it was a heated situation, I could say a joke or something and then make...
Look at how awesome I am. Look at how great I am. My dad doesn't understand me. He's an old stick in the mud. He doesn't get me. The narcissism. And you're going to know that, you're going to learn, maybe it'll be discussed, but the dad was kind of strict. And I mean, why wouldn't he be when his son's stealing like several $100,000 from him for a cam girl? Maybe he might have some obligation to do so. Give or take. Yes, probably a little too strict. But if you ask me in this case, not strict enough to correct things, or maybe too strict to push Grant over the edge there and get to this point where it's just like, you know what, I'm just going to shoot him. And then I'm going to use his dead corpse to unlock his phone because it needs a fingerprint so that I can get more money to get more time with the Bulgarian girl I'll never meet. I wish I was making that up, but that is what happens.
Everybody kind of moved past it. And I was just in the point where it's like,
I'm not frustrated,
I'm
I'm just
hearing,
fascinated.
all this stuff from Dad. I'm seeing how much Cody's helping me. Mom's stressed out with her job. And it's like, I'm not doing anything.
When's the last time your dad put his hands on you?
Detectives know about the altercation from Cody's girlfriend. Okay, so they know that they're aware of the physical altercation.
The last time my dad put
Or
his
not
hands
physical,
on me
but the
would be,
verbal altercation.
I'd say
I need to back up just...
the time my dad put his hands on me would be, I'd say, kind of the middle of December of 2018.
What happened?
It's because, with all the money that had been getting spent and...
Just to be clear, the CAM model has not yet been brought up in the discussion. The money being spent, in this context, would simply be his living expenses.
I guess just the mix of everything that I've been saying, just kind of boiling up in him. And the fact that to him, it seemed like I wasn't concerned about it. So, and then plus I wasn't acting like myself with the jovialness and, all that kind of stuff. My father chose to admit me to a depression or an addiction.
When you just have that sort of kind of a condition, addiction, and your dad's trying to take the steps, maybe you should look at it from his point of view, being like, is it worth it at all? Does she actually like you, or does she just like the money that you just keep pulling out of your ass? Trick question. It's the last part of that.
Clinic or something like that in Fort Lauderdale called Cornerstone.
When was that?
That was December 22nd.
Okay.
Until I think January 4th.
Did you agree to go?
I didn't, but they said that, this was your only...
Who said?
My dad.
Okay.
And that was in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes, yeah.
Did your mom agree with it?
My mom and my brother both agreed, but it was my dad who was like the iron fist, like, this is what's going to happen. Like, he can't...
Why did he say you needed to go? What was his reasoning?
Because with the way that I was acting, he didn't see that I was doing anything for, like, the positive. And a lot of it just came back to money with him. He would like allow me to spend money that he had, like with his credit card or something like that. But it's like then whenever I did, it was like a huge problem.
His cadence is, I don't want to say it's spot on, but it flows. It flows to a degree of confidence that someone thinking that they're telling the truth or is buying into their own bullshit as much as they can would do. And it's just to be clear, he's shot and killed his dad, his mom, and his older brother. And he just is like having a general just, this is my life. This is the story of Gran Hermano in all of its regal glory and everything. And we're just going to ignore the triple homicide in the corner. It is fascinating. That is all I'll say. It is fascinating.
Okay, so you had one of his credit cards.
Yeah.
And what were you buying with it?
Well, what I was doing is, over the past...
The sexy, sexy fun time.
4 months or something like that, I've been talking to this woman online.
Who's she?
She's, as embarrassing as it is, she's a cam model.
So we have reached the 1 hour, 10-minute mark, and now the crux of the issue has now finally brought itself forward. At long last, we have found essentially the motive.
4 months or something like that, I've been talking to this woman online.
Who's she?
She's, as embarrassing as it is, she's a cam model.
A what?
A cam model. Do either of you guys know what that is?
Because they've got better shit to do. They've got wives and husbands and personal lives at home that they don't need to spend $200,000 on.
Just like all the videos, Jeff, you have to tell us.
A cam model, it's like it's like a virtual girlfriend, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Like that type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the money went to her.
Okay, where's she at?
She lives in Bulgaria.
Where?
Bulgaria.
Where's that?
Over in Europe. It's like outside of Germany.
Okay.
Nowhere near Germany.
You ever been there?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't that serious.
Okay.
I'm not even going to try to entertain the idea of where Bulgaria is, but the fact that he doesn't even know is spot on.
Just for like the time online with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was just like that type of thing.
And what did she charge?
$600 for like 5,000 or something tokens or something like that. So, and then it was 4 hours a night. So I mean that's basically just where all the costs went to, was you pay real money for the tokens, then you use the company's digital currency for that.
So you do that, and when did you meet her?
I met her.
He didn't really meet her.
Beginning of July. Yeah, at the very beginning of July.
Okay, and still talking to her?
Still, yeah. I mean, more just on Twitter,
okay.
just through direct messaging. Again, cell phone service doesn't work, so it's like I can't use the chatting like that.
How much do you think you spent on this? Because it seems kind of pricey.
Yeah, probably close to.
Come on, buddy.
$200,000.
There it is.
I'd say.
$200,000?
Yeah.
And where'd the money come from?
Money came from me, my brother, and then my dad.
Did they know where the money was going to?
Willingly from one,
they didn't know that it was going
unwillingly
to
from two.
a cam model.
What did you
I
tell
was
them?
saying that it was going towards my Twitch streaming, advertising, putting my name out there and that type of thing. So I guess to bring it all back with why I was brought to Cornerstone, it was a mix of all of those things. It's like he felt like, he felt like
You need to be grounded.
Yeah. And so then I was there, I spoke to the therapist and psychiatrist and all that stuff. I didn't need any medications for anything. They had analyzed it as, this is an isolated event. You've been out of work, you have this PTSD from the whole getting arrested thing, and the last thing on my record was, I think, a speeding ticket back when I was at UCF. They had signed me up, I think, to be there for 60 days, but then I was only there until January 4th. So
Who paid for that?
My brother, Cody.
What was the cost of that,
$15,000.
So their final diagnosis of you was what?
That I was fine. That
didn't need to be there.
Yeah. That I was fine. I told them all about my living
current
situation and how it had been stressful, and then it got better, and then now it's just stressful again. But they had all just said that it was just this isolated event.
Situational PTSD from.
Right. When I got back, that's where my dad started to get really kind of overbearing, and rightfully so. I know what I did, but it's like with him, it was every single day, hours a day. Hours a day. he'd come home from work, and then he would just talk to me just about the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again.
When was the last time that you and your dad did have, you know, a heated conversation?
It would be Thursday, because...
Okay, so they were dead for 2 days before this happened. That's the timeline that we're going with. But it's just the fact that it's just like, again, can you blame the dad when $200,000 just gets shipped off to Bulgaria to never be seen again? Can you really blame him for being just slightly more overbearing? No, I freaking don't.
One of his rules was that I wasn't allowed to talk to the woman anymore.
Rightfully so.
But I guess you could say behind the scenes, my mom would let me talk to her through her cell phone using Twitter. So yeah, anyways, on Thursday, he had apparently found out that I was speaking to her again. You know, it wasn't really my intention to continue talking to this woman, but...
Notice how he also is just saying, this woman, trying to play it off like this is no big deal or anything. Like, oh, the cam girl, that has nothing to do with literally anything. Don't worry about it. It's not like that's the motive or anything. Don't look into that. It's just some woman that I spent $200,000 on for the love and affection that I thought she was giving me. Yeah, don't look into that. Don't look into that. It's just some woman.
It just kind of happened. And then because there was like that emotional connection, I guess you could say, between her and me, like
It's not emotional. Just gonna put that out there, and it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Cam girls are not in it for the emotional kicks. They're in it for the financial backing. That is all that it is.
I like, you know,
don't need to be a genius
for
that.
Like a relationship, you know, I didn't want to just stop cold turkey on it.
So Thursday, you're home all day.
Yes.
With your mom. She works at home.
Correct. Yeah.
Your dad's at work. What's his normal work hours?
He works until, I think he had to go in early that day, because he had to start like doing overtime or something like that. And he normally works though from like 5 or 6 in the morning to, I think he gets home between like 5:30 and 6 at night or something like that.
What time did you get home that day?
He got home at like 5:30, and then he came in and then he asked me, in a calmer state, I guess you could say, like basically the leading question of, you know, why do you think we're about to have this conversation? Giving me, I guess, that opportunity to be honest and truthful, to maybe tone it down a little bit. I, of course, did what I always did, where I kind of didn't admit to it. And then he came out and he told me that I had been doing that.
He had proof.
Yeah.
Have an argument?
Yeah. He kind of, you know, pulled me up from the couch, and then he was yelling at me to pack my shit up and just get out of the house. That he was the one who had to be the hammer, and that, you know, why am I making him have to go through this, and all this other kind of stuff.
Okay.
I had my argument, and then I'm packing my stuff. I'm, you know, taking it out to the car. It took me like a couple hours to get as much as I could, just kind of out into there. So I left.
Okay.
And then.
What time do you think you left about?
Oh God. 9 or 9:30 or so.
He goes on to state that he met up with his brother soon after on the side of the road.
And what was the conversation?
Conversation was basically that he was brought up to speed, you know, and that he would take care of it.
He was brought.
And I think if my memory is correct, by taking care of it, I think his brother Cody gives him like a credit card of sorts to use to at least like keep him on his feet, get him a roof over his head, or it'd be like a motel or something, get him food, get him gas, get him a means of getting a job and getting some stable income. And I think he squanders that even more for tokens. I may be wrong on that if my memory is fuzzy, but that seems like something Grant would do. And I'm just kind of thinking of this now, it's heavily ironic that a guy named Grant is taking a lot of his family for granted. You can quote me on that and I'll take it to the bank myself.
Brought up to speed by what?
This is Grant attempting to frame his brother for a double murder-suicide.
Or maybe that.
You will see this quote brought up repeatedly from this point forward.
He was brought up to speed on, like, why I'm out here.
Who brought him up to speed?
My mom.
Oh, so she talked to him?
Yeah.
He told you that Mom had talked to him?
Right.
Do you think that's why Cody left work?
According to Grant, Cody had left work a few hours early to meet up with him on the side of the road. Cody had indeed left work early, yet it wasn't to meet up with Grant. It was later proven that while Margaret Amato was sitting at the computer sipping on a glass of red wine, Grant shot her in the back of the head. He then lay in wait for his father to return to the house, then shot him twice in the head as he entered the kitchen. Cody then received a text from his father's number, asking him to come home urgently. Forensics believed that he was very likely pleading for his life soon after he entered the front door. He was found by police with a gunshot wound to the face, lying in the fetal position. His credit card was stolen, with a purchase made to a campsite for $600 and estimated 30 minutes later.
That's what it was. It wasn't like a willing thing. It was forcibly. Just to prove that he can't get any worse as a human. But he will. He will.
I mean, in my mind, I was just thinking, oh, he had been let off work early like three times already this week. So I was just like...
10, 15 minutes you talk to Cody.
Right.
You have a conversation, and he leaves to go home.
Right.
And you leave to go where?
And then I stay in that general area just so that if anything happens, somebody like knows where I am. Yeah, I mean, I was staying in that general area, and then I decided to go
to Publix.
He just referred to the Publix supermarket parking lot. This is where he used the free Wi-Fi to log on to the campsite with his dead brother's credit card.
Which was about what time?
Like, between like midnight and 1, I think. Yeah.
And you go to Publix midnight 1, and how long did you stay there till?
I stayed there until like 7.
We have hit the 2-hour mark into this interview. He has still not asked why the hell he is there. He is still not asked why all of this is happening. He has still not once asked, where's my parents? Where's my brother? What's going on? The absolute level of disconnect that he has. And here he is just head in hands, just like, I don't care at all. It's just mind-boggling, to say the very least.
Slept there last night? Talked to anybody?
I messaged the girl that I'd been talking to on Twitter.
Yeah. On Twitter, so you have to pay for it.
Right.
Did she respond back to you?
I think once.
The discussion is then brought back to his last meeting with Cody.
And then, when you left Cody, what did he say he was going to go do?
Cody said that he will take care of it.
Take care of what?
Just the situation that was at hand, with whatever he had been updated with from my mom.
Did he tell you what he was updated?
He had told me the reason why, like, I'd been kicked out. But he really didn't give me that much dialogue, like, about that situation. You know, he was miffed a little bit because, you know, he had just gotten off work and now he has to go deal with this.
But what was your demeanor? Like, what did Cody see you as? Like, were you
like scared?
Upset?
Yeah, like I was scared because, I mean, like I said, it's the first time that I had been out of the house.
We've come and talked to you.
Okay.
You rode up here voluntarily with us to talk to us.
The detective will now initiate the first confrontation.
Why do you think we're having this conversation?
2 hours, 12 minutes, 36 seconds. It is 11:37 in the morning, 2 days after the murder, and we're finally getting to the point of, why are we doing this? Why is all this happening?
I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty freaked out at this point.
Oh, are you now? Are you now? 2 hours later, now you're freaking out.
Because, you know, it's, I mean, I know, like, how the situation was when I left.
You're now about to see the lead interrogator's attempt at getting Grant to confess, in a manner so blatantly obvious that the suspect immediately sees through it.
As a child, we're told the truth always is the best thing to do, correct?
Correct.
You agree with it?
Yeah.
And accidents happen, and things in the heat of the moment, things happen that we wish hadn't happened, but I do it myself sometimes. My kids will make me so aggravated, I'll snap at them and then walk away and say, wow, I wish I would not have done that. That was not very adult of me to snap at my child for something. Yes, they're wrong, but I should be the adult and not snap at them.
Right.
Tell me what you think, because I can tell I've done this for a long, long time, and I read people, the way they act, and the way they talk to me, and the way they answer questions. There's something you want to tell us. I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your body language, and just the way you act. Now's the time. Now's the time. If there's something you want to get off your chest and give us an explanation of what's bothering you, now is the exact time to do it. And I'm giving you that opportunity right now to tell me something you want to get off your chest. It's there. I can see it in your face. I can see it in your eyes.
You kept out about that night.
You're upset about it. You've been that since we've talked to you. I can see there's something's been bothering you. Even though I don't know you from Adam's house, can't you see things in people that something's really bothering this guy? It's not that, I spent a bunch of money I shouldn't have on this girl. So be it. You did. It's over with. Money can be made back. Something's bothering you.
I'm just worried about what is all transpiring from this.
I think at this point right now,
Still technically hasn't asked, where's my family? Did something happen to them? But it's again, I am freaking out. Everything that's transpiring around me, I'm more concerned about what's going on with me right now. The level of narcissism is starting to show itself.
to be honest with you, Grant, you know what it is. It's in your eyes. Your eyes is the view to your soul, and it's in your eyes. And it sounds stupid, and people don't believe it. Like I told you out there in the car, did I not tell you? You may not like what I say, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth every time, because I can walk in front of anybody in God.
I've noticed that the interrogator for a while has always just been like sitting in the corner off at a distance, just kind of chillaxing, I guess. But now he's getting forward. He's getting closer. He's now using his hands to really lay in, to be like, you know why we're here. You know exactly why you're here. You, Brandon, thanks for the follow. And if you'd also notice with the whole layout of the room itself, Grant's literally cornered. There is no way out. The only way out is through the interrogators, and the interrogators are the only ones that will let him out, but they're not going to let him out until they get what they want. Love that little bit of design choice, the way that it's always positioned like that. It's one of my favorite things to point out whenever I watch interrogation videos.
And say, I don't care. I told him the truth.
And we usually know answers before we ask it.
Right.
I knew, me and Eva knew everything before we asked you the questions. Now's the time to come to Jesus, be honest, because you're holding something back. I can see it in your eyes. People don't believe that the police will help you, but we are actually here to help you with issues you may have. I think something happened, and you don't want to tell us, but right now is the time to get it off your chest. And I really wish you would, because it will make you feel better in the end.
I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about the night or the periods of time afterwards.
There's only one opportunity to make that good impression, and if we've done something we shouldn't have done, you fess up to it. You caught your hand in a cookie jar.
Detective Dan's approach here is so incredibly outdated and predictable that it actually seems to boost the suspect's confidence. It's the detective, in fact, who gives off a nervous disposition. He'll begin stumbling over his own words while simultaneously mixing up his analogies, which never made a great deal of sense to begin with.
You do it. Now,
is there anything else that happened at the house that you didn't tell us, that you've left out, or we haven't asked you, that would be of importance? Or during the time that you drove around for those few hours? Did you ever really go back to the house? that you haven't told us about.
You'll also notice the female detective interject with something useful every now and then. But unfortunately, she's not the one leading this interrogation. That would be the detective who keeps bringing up Jesus, to a guy who just murdered his family to go jerk off in a parking lot to a Bulgarian cam model.
Couldn't have said it better than my freaking self. As a man of God, spot on. Grant couldn't give two shits about Jesus right now.
I know things that you don't know. And honesty will get you all the things I could do for you, to be honest. I can't deal with someone who lies to me,
Right.
but I'll deal with someone and help them till the end, no matter what, believe it or not. That's just me, and she'll tell you. It's what it is. I'm going to be honest with you.
He really is
I'm going
stumbling
to
over
say
his
if I can do
words
something
right now.
that can help you, I'm going to help you, because every one of us make mistakes and do things we shouldn't have done in the heat of the moment to protect ourselves or to protect somebody else. It happens.
But I could also see how, whether it be intentional or not, him just kind of saying stuff and just kind of rambling to this point, it can catch Grant off guard. It can catch any sort of criminal or interrogatee, I guess. It can catch him off guard, because if you're just saying stuff, you just keep rambling on about everything and nothing at the same time, Grant's mind is spinning, trying to figure out, what is he saying? How can I work with this? What do I need to say to convince him that I'm innocent? And all that is just going on in the blink of an eye. So he's keeping his mind racing. Even if it's not really like making sense to any degree, it kind of gets there. So, while not technically, like, I don't think he was doing it intentionally, but it does have some unintentional positive benefits to that degree as well. There's several cases that I've seen where the interrogator does go kind of on a bit of a rant and a ramble and everything. And the interviewee is just doesn't know what to say, doesn't know what to do. He can't really respond because he's trying to figure out how to respond. So, unintentional or intentional, hard to say. Hard to say to that degree.
Now's the time. Now is the time.
So what do you think
To be
happened?
honest.
I think that there was something that obviously happened at the house.
Tell me what happened.
I don't know what happened.
I know better. Listen to me. I know better. I can help you, Grant, with honesty. I can help you with honesty.
We think something else happened before you left the home that you're either afraid of or embarrassed to talk about. But we need to know exactly what happened, because like Danny said, we can place you there at certain times. And so we need to know what happened before you left that house, because you didn't leave with everything being okay.
I honestly, I don't have anything else that I can really say. I mean, I don't know.
Do you even know why law enforcement got involved? Like what brought us to that home?
Why has the situation escalated to the point where you're in this room with these two detectives? Have you asked yourself why this has gotten to this point 2 hours, 24 minutes, 35 seconds into this interview? Has it not crossed your mind to figure out exactly why you're here, or to even ask the considerate question of why you're here?
No.
Thought so. I freaking thought so.
Once you start telling me something that's truthful that I know, then we're going to have a conversation of exactly what happened.
I mean, you're a smart guy. You know something's happened at your home. You have law enforcement here. You haven't heard or gotten any
Well,
emails
I
from
mean,
your family.
I'm just scared as to what the answer is.
The answer is you committed a triple homicide. So, I believe we call that in the business a family annihilation, I think is the actual term that they use for that.
Well, you need to help yourself by filling in the blanks of what happened that night so we can give you the answer. Did anything more happen with you and your father besides him grabbing you up from the couch and yelling at you and kicking you out? Anything at all? Did he Did he harm you, hit you,
No.
draw any weapons on you?
No. He didn't do anything like that.
What did he do?
I mean, he was just yelling.
Aside from that.
This is the time to come to Jesus, to be honest. Because you know more. I'm looking in your eyes tell me exactly that you are hurting inside. I get it. Brother, I get it. You're hurting.
And this is the only time we can help you.
Because once we get to a certain point, there's nothing.
She makes a good point. This is the only time we can help you. Because if he doesn't say it now, if he doesn't just come clean and say, yes, I killed my mother and my father and my brother and I robbed them blind so that I can pay for some lovey-lovey time from a Bulgarian woman I'll never meet. If he just says it now, he gets a little bit better for it. At least at the bare minimum, life without parole. But if he continues down this path of just, I'm innocent because I'm just that darn awesome. Oh, there's a bed with some straps on it in a very enclosed room in your future, if you catch my drift.
Nothing I can do. It's in the hands of who has it. Nothing I can do. Honesty is always the best policy. You get caught stealing a car, you admit to it, I did it, how can I get help? What can be done to help me? And let me tell you the rest of my story. You're holding
And if
back.
something happened that you were defending yourself, then we need to know that. If you were protecting yourself because you were in fear, then that makes sense.
So she's giving him an out. She's giving him the alternative narrative that he could have full control over. To say, yes, my dad came at me. Physically tried to, I don't know, punch, grab, choke, I don't know. Could give him something to work with. But I don't even think he bites to that.
But we need to know exactly what happened for you to protect yourself.
You can't minimize this. Once, a wise man told me one time, once a bomb goes off, you can't defuse it.
The detective's wise man friend was clearly a specialist in nuclear fusion, yet most people would already comprehend that a bomb can no longer be defused once it has exploded.
Better analogy, I would say, is just simply the truth shall set you free. That's kind of the one that I would go with. Just being like, once an action's done, it cannot be undone. We have to live with the repercussions of our actions, and we have to own up to our mistakes, for better or for worse. But again, the truth shall set you free. After you're given a life sentence without parole.
Can't. That's already out there. Now is the point to say, how do I put Band-Aids on myself to minimize the injuries I have? And we're giving you that opportunity. I want to give you that opportunity. I don't think you're a bad guy at all. I really don't.
The male detective will now for some reason focus on Grant's flaws and the overwhelming embarrassment of the cam girl situation, which is basically the exact opposite of what he should be doing. He seems to get confused about what he's trying to achieve here. He carries a sympathetic tone while essentially roasting the ever-loving shit out of the suspect.
I think you're going through a very stressful and emotional time right now with being out of work and just dealing with all the problems with the arrest. You're probably not used to depending on somebody to pay all your bills. So now you have to do mom and dad or have to give you money. Cody's having to give you money. And there's a significant debt to people. $200,000, I don't know what I do. I mean, mortgage, yeah, I get it, or something like that, or a medical bill for my child, yeah, I get it. But talking to some girl, in Bulgaria, you hit it right on the head. You were embarrassed about it, and you have nothing to be embarrassed about. Here it is, man. I want to help you. She want to help you. You gotta come to me with the truth now, because I already know the truth.
There's a reason you didn't go back to the house. There's a reason why you haven't tried to reach out. I mean, it's odd you haven't heard from anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's words that, like, I can't think of to even say. Like, I don't know how to even say the words.
Again, that's kind of what I was getting with, kind of what the detective is doing with the whole rambling thing and just kind of saying nonsense, whether it's intentional or unintentional. It's keeping Grant on the back foot, where he's always having to constantly be thinking, what should I say? What should I do? Will this work? Will this spin right? If you keep him on the back foot, he can't really get going. Or at least, like, try and spin a new narrative that might work. If you keep him just thinking, he ain't going to be getting too far.
Well, give me a roundabout what you're thinking.
That somebody in my family's dead.
Somebody try 2 more.
And how does that make you feel if you're thinking that?
I have absolutely no...
I'm going to point this one out. If I was in his situation, God forbid if I was ever in his situation, if you've got any sort of opportunity to play into like a sympathetic, wait, are my parents dead? And then just kind of like break down, kind of helps, could help. It's something. But the fact that you're not, just, now I'm going back to it being infuriating. That it's just like the level of just he just does not care. He just does not care. Mario the 20, thank you for the follow there. He is just in another plane of existence, another plane of reality, all in its own. And it's fascinating that he can commit a family annihilation and just act like nothing. Like nothing happened.
Ability to comprehend the words. Because, like I said, I've been there for my whole entire life. And even though there's been struggles and everything like that, there hasn't ever been any issues.
There's never been the struggles or the issues like happened Thursday. Never for you. I believe you 100%. I believe it's never been like that. But something happened Thursday, unlike anything you've ever experienced in 29 years of your life. Never.
And maybe you felt that was rock bottom for you. You were getting kicked out of the house. Your father gave you an ultimatum. I mean, that's...
The female detective will now carry out what the male detective was probably trying to do a few minutes ago. She will afford him justifications for the crime, making the gravity of admission less intimidating.
You know, you're already dealing with the debt, and, you know, now you have to stop talking to this girl.
So now we leave it to the woman to do a better job than the man. Kudos to her for at least trying something that will work.
And now you're being kicked out of the home. I mean, that's... I can understand how you would feel. I mean, that you'd want to lash out, or, you know, if something happened, you'd want to defend yourself.
Sure.
She's giving him a means to an end. She's giving him, like, were you trying to defend yourself, and that's why you had to shoot your dad? Were you just pushed over the edge? Where you just finally snapped and, in a fit of rage, killed your entire family? She's trying to give him something to at least make that admission. If he can just say, yes, I killed my family in a fit of rage because of everything that is happening, and that is why I did it. Even that can get him off death row. But by not doing that, he's gonna get in line. It might get there.
Absolutely.
But we need to know what happened.
I mean, I can tell that you guys are, like, leading me into a certain way of what...
The only thing we're leading you to is wanting to get the truth from you. Not trying to make you say something that's not true, that's not accurate. The truth, the end. That's it. That's all we want, is the absolute truth.
I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about what transpired during the nighttime.
So when you left your house, everybody was fine.
Yeah.
And when you left Cody,
everything was fine.
Everything was fine in Grant Amato's little world. Mom and Dad and brother are dead. They don't have to hold me back from talking to Madame Bulgaria over here. everything's gonna be coming up sunshine and rainbows for me now.
Well, we got called to the house because Cody didn't show up to work. So law enforcement goes over there, and can you tell us what we found?
No, the only thing that I was told was that Cody would take care of it for me. And that's all that I know.
So if anything happened in the home, to bring law enforcement there, what would you think happened?
Come on, dude, you were a nurse. You almost were an anesthesiologist. You got a brain in there, my guy. You could possibly say something. Could finally crack and say, are you telling me they're dead? I would even know that. And I'll hopefully pray to God never be in that situation, whether I'm guilty or not.
That there was a shooting.
We didn't say anything about a gun. Now, did we? How do you know there was a shooting, my guy?
Between whom?
I don't know. Between Cody and my dad.
And why would you think that?
To protect me, or to help me, or to do something with me.
Because it's all about little Granty Poo. The narcissism kicking in full force. Everything's about me. Everything's about everything's about number one. Oh, my, me, ma. It's all about Mr. No Hair on his head over there.
So you're telling me you did not shoot Cody,
No.
your father, or your mother?
No.
And again, if I was in this position and I was just being told my mom, my dad, and my brother are dead, I would be freaking out. Hysterical to that degree. If I cared even the slightest bit. And the fact that he just seems like genuinely confused. Grant ain't here with us right now. He's in his own little world.
I mean, I don't know, like, what more I can say.
Well, when law enforcement arrived, that's what they found. So you're the only outstanding child.
Now hold up. I want to pull this back because his whole, like, I just noticed this. He just kind of pulls back and is just like, oh. It seems more exasperatory rather than just like, oh my gosh, no. It's just more like a head and hands and just being like, great, now I gotta deal with this now. So just watch.
When law enforcement arrived, that's what they found.
It's just like, no.
So you're the only outstanding child.
No.
You're the one that's been
Now
having
how am I
problems
gonna
with your
spin
dad.
this?
You're the one that we haven't been able to find for 2 days. Do you understand now why we would be questioning you about this?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't, like, I wouldn't be saying, like, all, like, I don't know the way to, I don't know, like, what to even say.
So if anything happened in the home,
The truth
you
would
believe it would
help.
be Cody and him.
Just saying.
Because I don't have, access to anything.
We know that Cody didn't shoot your dad. We know Cody didn't shoot your mom. We know Cody didn't shoot himself. There's something.
And you still haven't asked us the
That-
condition of them or anything.
That's because I don't know what.
And I'm still going back to that idea that Grant, there has been no discussion of guns, firearms, or anything. But it's Grant that's the first to bring up that maybe there was a shooting. He's the first to imply that a gun was involved. Now, how would somebody who supposedly has nothing to do with this know that a gun was involved?
What the normal proceedings are, but
The normal proceedings are for you to be honest about what happened.
And then we help you understand everything that's going on from here on out. of what our responsibilities are.
And we don't believe you're being honest. We feel that you are leaving something out about what happened in that home. And the evidence tells us what happened in the home. But you need to fill in the blanks.
The suspect's composure was finally starting to slip. This was the perfect moment to draw out the silence to see how he'd respond to the pressure.
Here's
Yeah, just sit there
here's
in
my
silence.
hand.
Sit there in silence.
I am an honest
just
guy.
wait.
I'm going to
It's
be
what
honest.
he should have done.
And when it's all said and done,
He should have just sat there and let Grant stew into trying to figure out, how do I spin this? How do I say I didn't kill my dad, my mom, and my brother? How did I not do this? Just sit there and let the silence eat away at him until he's the one that speaks. Or if he just straight up refuses to talk, just kind of chime in. We'd like to hear an answer. It doesn't have to be now, but we'll get one soon. Could have done something, but yeah.
I'm going to be honest to the very last day that I deal with you. And then when this investigation continues, I'll go on to the next person to be honest with them. I can only do so much with honesty. Honesty.
So what are you not telling us?
The truth, more so than anything else, but yeah.
What happened at that home that you know? Did you leave the house with your brother Cody looking like that?
Bold move, ma'am. I dig it. So what I'm probably not seeing is that those are crime scene photos of his brother Cody lying in the fetal position with a bullet hole in his head and a pool of blood forming around it. That's probably been sitting there for 2 days. So yeah. It's a power move, I'll say that much, just to show the suspect the situation that they're having to fight against. Why is he just lying there dead? Why is she sitting at her computer slumped over with a bullet hole in her head? And why is your dad also lying on the floor dead? His hands covered in blood, except for his index finger, which was needed to use to unlock his phone so that Grant could get his money. Oh, man. Granty.
Or did you leave the house with your father looking like that? Or your mother?
Come on,
Is that how
Micah.
you left your family?
No.
Oh, now you're crying.
Nobody else went into that house.
Who left your family like this? If you were the one that's been depressed, you were the one that owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father, who did this to your family?
Sit in silence.
If you were trying to defend yourself or something else happened, we need to know now.
The female detective does an excellent job at affording him the option to admit to a lesser infraction,
Yes.
which in this case is self-defense.
Yes.
She provides the option while simultaneously building pressure. It's
Yes.
a textbook maneuver, and she does it very well.
To help you.
Also noticing, again, I pointed this out, but the detective placement in the room is spot on as well. If Grant's trying to think of a way out of here, he's got to get to the door, which is blocked by 2 detectives, one of which is sitting right in the middle of his path. So quite literally, he's got nowhere to run. And the only way out is to finally admit fault.
So tell us what happened, Grant. We're here to listen to you.
Grant, you need the truth. We're here to make this right. You got to tell the truth. It's on the tip of your tongue, my man. I get that. It's
Did your
tough.
father go after you and you try to protect yourself?
No, I didn't do any of this.
Hey, I know. Video surveillance tells me everything that happened this night. I'm telling you. Of people that you'd be surprised who in your neighborhood has video. And I know that nobody.
Well, yeah, that's an important thing he wants to bring up.
You'd be surprised who in your neighborhood has video.
No one has video. But the idea that someone could, the thought of that idea can spin things and just, ooh, it's gonna get spicy and everything.
And I know that there's only 4 people at this house during this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me. You got to tell me, man. You got to tell me. Get over that hoop. The video, if you're sitting there saying no, 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 and video shows something else, guess what? Big problem. Because it will wind up later on that you can't get any help from anybody. A lot of this, what people make decisions on, is honesty. Was somebody honest? Didn't fire a gun, didn't fire a gun, didn't fire a gun. None of them did.
So who did?
None of them did. Cody did not go home.
Or did your father point a gun at you?
No, there's nothing else that I can say.
Your emotions, your demeanor, your body language, your eyes tell me everything I need to see about you. You want to tell me in the worst way. You want to get this pain off your chest. Do it.
I mean, there's just nothing else that I can say.
So your dad had told you in the past.
He's moved closer. The male cop is doing the good cop routine. The female cop is doing the bad cop routine. The guy's gotten closer now. He's invading personal space. He's putting more pressure and is literally backing Grant into a corner. You can literally see him. He's got a wall to his right, a wall behind him, and this guy to his left. Literally boxing him in. I love it when they do that.
Before that he would kill you?
Right.
For what reason?
For if I basically did anything related to this, again, costing him a lot of money.
And Cody knew about that?
Right.
So when did you learn that your family was dead?
I had been worried since last night when I was just in the hotel, but I knew when you guys told me. I mean, like, I knew when you guys had told me.
You already knew, though.
But I had...
You already said, you knew.
At any point, did you feel like you needed to reach out to Cody and see if he was okay, or?
Yeah. Or just, like, call for a wellness check. I have a strange premonition that I may have inadvertently killed my parents and my brother. Could you check to see if they're okay? And the fact that he has now openly said, it's why he openly said that I had a feeling since last night. But we've gone almost 2 hours through this interview, and you never said a word of it being like, did something happen to my family? We got through basically your life story, and only now within the past hour of this interview, we're finally at the crux of the issue.
I just didn't want to call anywhere. I just didn't want to know.
We understand your father was abusive, and we understand that he was the asshole.
Maybe, maybe not, but she's at least giving him something to work with as far as, like, coming out and saying, yes, I did it. Yes, I'm guilty as charged and everything.
If he threatened you that he was going to kill you when you came back, you were probably in fear, were you not?
Come on.
So did your brother come home to try and defend you, and then this gunfight happened, and you got so scared that you left?
This version of events would obviously clear Grant of any wrongdoing. The detective is hoping he takes the bait so that he changes his story, and can then be placed under arrest for lying to police.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I
doesn't do it.
When I had said that I had left.
I just don't know where else to go to get you to come around, because it does not make any logistical sense of what you're telling us. It doesn't. If these two got in a shooting, we would know. We would know they shot each other. We'd know that.
But why Mom?
Yeah. Why she shot. She didn't do anything.
Things just got so bad and out of hand, like never it's been before in your life. Never been here before in your life, or your family's life. He's pissed. His future, his retirement, his plans are being upset by you because of the financial cost.
I'm starting to see something now as well, and I don't know if this was intentional or anything, or if it has even been taken into account or notice or anything. But the fact that throughout this entire interview that there's just been this empty chair in the background is probably just in there. This room is probably equipped to have like 4 chairs. I don't know. Probably that's the case. But wouldn't it be interesting if this chair is supposed to resemble basically like Cody sitting off to the side, metaphorically saying, "Come on, Grant, just tell the truth." I mean, that's what I'm seeing. I could interpret that, and it could also be figuratively to that degree as well. I've seen cases where these sort of props are used, and it actually makes a lot of sense, and it works to a degree as well. It puts that sort of pressure on. So, or it could just be a massive coincidence. Either way.
I would almost bet this is just a horrible, bad incident that on any other day wouldn't happen. But you and me both know, as does she, what happened that night.
I don't have the answer for anything else.
Okay. This is the last time before I'm gonna walk out now, and then I'm done. Then I'm done for good. When I'm done, I'm done.
And I don't have anything else that I can say.
Do you not feel bad for doing this to your family?
I mean, I've been getting blamed for the last half a year for everything, and I've been trying to move forward into a positive direction.
Well, it's hard not to blame you when you're stealing $200,000 from your family to feed a porn addiction. Kind of hard to sympathize with you, my guy. Just kind of hard to do that.
And then every day I'm reminded of all the trouble that I had caused.
Me. I. Everything is about poor little Granty Pie. Again, you get no sympathy for the guy. You just don't freaking get it.
And then I keep being told the same thing over and over again, but there's nothing that I can do to change it.
Do you regret doing this to each one of your family members?
I didn't do that to each one of them.
Here, you sit in my seat for a minute.
Sit in my feet.
Get out of it. Here, sit right here. Come here. Sit right here. Get out of that seat. Sit right there for me.
The suspect still isn't sitting in his seat.
2 things that happened here today. 2 things.
This freaking detective.
You're a guy swimming out in the middle of the ocean, and we're going to give you one of 2 things based on.
If he regrets the choices that
you
he
can
made
have a
in this
life
thing.
preserver to keep from drowning, or you get the boat anchor. Which one do you want?
I do also want to point out, and I know the webcam's kind of blocking it, but now the detective is sitting directly in front of the door. Directly in front of his means of getting out. So, now he's literally in that corner. Blocked. No way out, my guy. No way out.
Because we will give you whichever one you ask for. The life preserver, the boat anchor.
I want the life preserver, but I've said everything that I can.
You want it, and I believe you do, but you have not said everything you can say. But there will be a time where you ask for that life preserver. I can't give it to you. I can't. Once I cross a line I gotta step over, can't do it. Won't do it. Think about that. I want to talk to her for a minute. Think about the last life preserver I can give you. Think about it.
Female
Take a few
detective
minutes
is just
to
like, this guy
reflect
doesn't
on
know
it,
what he's talking
and then
about.
we'll come back to you in a couple of minutes, and then we'll go from there. And what happens is what happens. Fair enough?
I want to see how long he was sitting there. Just a little bit on, just about 10 minutes. He just sat there. What's he thinking? And also notice that the photos of his dead dad, dead mom, and dead brother are just sitting right there, and he is not even trying to look. So the guilt's there. You can see it, but he is not going to freaking acknowledge it.
You alright, man? You okay? Need some food, some water? Good. You good to stay for a while longer? You okay?
I mean, I just don't have anything more that I can say. I don't know.
Without implicating myself, so.
I'm not keeping you. If you want to stay, well, I'll talk to you till whatever, till you're happy with everything and you're okay. You're not detained. You're not being kept here. Don't want to be here. You don't have to be here.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay. Give me a minute. We'll get you out of here. What we'll do is we'll get you up somewhere. I'll give you my card, my phone number. If you want to talk to me, you're more than welcome to call me. And we'll move forward from
Calling
there.
for some more insightful non-analogies.
Or before we walk out. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Like, what am I allowed to do?
Hopefully not talk to the Bulgarian cam girl, for starters.
Live your life. Hey man, we're right there at it. Jason's here. It's going to be a few more minutes. What I need to do is just for our investigation, get some pictures of you. We're going to collect your clothing. As soon as that's done, we'll get Jason here to talk to you. All right.
Okay, so now his other brother comes in here. This is where it gets bad. Because the brother's just gonna be like, I need closure. I need you to tell me what happened to my parents. I need you to tell me this stuff. And Grant just does not give it to him. At freaking all. Now we're dealing with family here. Literally, the only family that he has left now, that he hasn't killed yet, is now walking into this room. And I'm already, I'm just seeing it right now. The smile. A semblance of relief. A semblance of normalcy. My brother's here to save me because I'm so perfect. Everybody loves Grant.
Alright, so I take it you know what happened.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you plain out. You are not part of it anyway. No.
It was subtle. It was very subtle. But I'm gonna back it up. Just slightly. His brother asks, you didn't have anything to do with this. And Grant can't look him in the eyes and say no. He just shakes his head and looks to the side. It's very subtle, but you probably will see it.
I'm gonna ask you plain out. You are not part of it anyway. No.
No. Head dips a bit.
When's the last time you saw everybody? I left the house between midnight and 12:30.
Repeats what he told the detectives, but no shift in the emotions.
I want to believe you, Grant, but you're the last person that I could put in that house. And I know what happened over the last 6 months. Who else can I blame? How are we going to find out who did this? I don't know. I don't have the answers. The shit you did, you could have been in jail. You would have been in jail for years. I know.
But Mom and Dad bailed you out.
I'm scared for you, and I'm scared for myself, and I don't feel comfortable with you being around me alone. I'm sorry.
No.
I could take you physically, but if you have a knife or know where a gun is, I'm fucked. I need you to be honest with me, man. I need to have closure. I was told that you would not have access to be able to contact this woman. Why do you feel the intent to still contact her? It was just the whole emotional thing. I mean, that's all okay. That I can say. So are you saying that you love the woman? I feel like I did, yeah. Okay.
She doesn't love you back, my guy. The Bulgarian from maybe somewhere near Germany, as we've established. Maybe, maybe not. is only in it for the money. The emotion is not there. It never is with the cam girls.
Okay, you feel like you did, so you don't feel that way now?
Well, I mean, now it's pretty much, I mean, it's not what it used to be, is all I can say.
Because she's aware of what has happened in the last several months.
Right.
It hurt, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't carry that persona that you carried before. I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less.
Won't frickin' look him in the eyes with that hug.
You have anything else you need to talk about before we let you go? Because now's your time. You know that. Like Danny said, once you're out of here, there's no coming back from this. We're giving you every opportunity to tell us what happened in that home that you have not told us. So you're aware that when you leave here, you're not going to have any chance to redeem yourself and tell us the truth after the fact.
I understand.
And you're okay with that. You can live with yourself knowing that you're not going to tell us the truth.
I've said what I can say.
Okay.
He doesn't admit to, like, yes and no. It's just a probably, maybe, sort of answer.
You ready, man? Yeah. Question for you real quick. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt anybody else. No suicidal thoughts. Okay, come on, bud.
Grant was arrested 9 hours later at his hotel. His trial began on August 12, 2019.
Grant Amato was so obsessed with this woman. You're going to see from the evidence in this case, at 2:53 a.m. on January 25th, after leaving the house that contained the 3 dead bodies of his family, the defendant goes to a nearby Publix parking lot, logs onto their Wi-Fi, and uses his dead brother's USA checking account to pay $599.99 to get onto Sylvie's website at 3:02 in the morning. That's what this case is about. It's about his blind obsession with this woman, the end of the world as he believed it to be because of his family, and his absolute contempt for those that he held responsible.
Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree premeditated murder.
Grant Amato was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And that is that. It's fascinating when you see these things. It's just like, what goes on in a person's head that pulls them into that situation, that gets them into that sort of debacle? Not really a debacle. It's a situation of their own accord. And it's just, and for stuff that is just so petty, so inconsequential. You spend $200,000+ on a girl that doesn't care about you, that has no emotional skin in the game, and it's just, and you're willing to kill for this girl that doesn't even remember you. It's just, yeah, it's infuriating. I don't understand how a mind works like that. Not only do I not understand, but I doubt I'll ever be able to understand. Either that or I just straight up refuse to understand.